You know, as men, we take on so much that we often don't seek help. We shoulder on, you know, the pack of our work and our families and our life, and then we often kind of fend off the offers of help because, like, no, I'm tough. I can do this. So it's important to take that pack off and be like, actually, I'm pretty tired. Can you help me out? Hi, I'm Luke. Before I became a stay-at-home dad, for about 7 years I was a career intelligence practitioner, and that was my life, that was my career ambition, and I was very focused on that. It was work that I regarded to be really important, serve my country, do something that would make a difference. And when I became a stay-at-home dad, I left that career journey behind and realised that being a father, being a husband would have more of an impact on future generations than any work that I did in government service. And pretty soon I realised I was in a bit of a downward trajectory, and I knew I had to be there for my daughter. I needed to kind of be emotionally present for her, and I wasn't. Becoming a stay-at-home dad, I had this identity crisis of, okay, who am I now? Like, I'm a dad, love my girls, but there was this incredible weight of perceived judgment that I had now failed as a provider father, and I had walked away from a career. And so the depression was, I guess, coupled with that identity crisis, that being a stay-at-home dad, there was no routine, there was, you know, challenges coming thick and fast and from all directions, and I was just totally unprepared. I realised I needed to get help because I don't want to scare my wife, I don't want to scare the girls, and they can see Daddy kind of falling to bits. So I referred to a stopping violence program through accounts that I knew at church, and he said it's a really good program to learn about yourself and why men struggle with their emotions in this country. And then I was then referred to mental health services. It wasn't until my second visit to the respite centre that I finally got the help that I needed to start a course of medication and cognitive behavioural therapy. But at the core of it, you've got to have family, friends, work colleagues that are empathetic and aware. It's really important that people that you care about and the people that you work with are aware of what you're going through, because isolation is the absolute killer and it's the absolute worst thing. So the sooner that you reach help and that you seek out the older dads, or the father or the uncle or the cousin, or the other dad at work, or, you know, having those confidences are so important. Right. Yeah, I guess for a lot of guys, our careers, our jobs, they kind of define us. That's how we're kind of understood. Yeah, hey, so what do you do? My name's Luke. What do you do? Oh, what do I do? Well, what about the question of, you know, who are you? You know, that sense of being rather than doing.
So your mummy's great-great-great-great-grandmothers used to crush that up and they put it on their skin.
There is some stigma. I think if I was to go back to the workplace, if I was to go back to my old line of work, I would surely feel the stigma and the categorisation of, oh, he's a burned out dude, he's you know, he had a breakdown, not sure if he's much use to us. But of course the flip side is actually knowing myself physically, mentally, I've been able to rebuild myself up to be more of an asset, more of a resource. You become invaluable to society because you become stronger. How can't you? How can you not become stronger when you are at your weakest point? We all hit a wall eventually, whether we admit it or not, but it's whether you bounce back and go back to your old ways, or you break through that wall and you move into a new way of thinking, a new way of serving others, putting others first, and just appreciating life, the little things. What's really important, your family. You know, you never waste a good crisis.